Wow. Did you have a wonderful holiday Valentine's Day weekend? I hope you did. We're back. It's Tuesday and it's time to talk. How y'all doing? Well, I'm excited. Number one, I'm going to blink and this month is going to be done because that's what happens with February. Are you embracing Black history? Are you learning something? I just want to know these basic things. Are you learning something? It is what it is. Myself and Coach Tony, we have been on the run, and like I said, he is still coaching, doing his thing. I see Mr. Springer is in the building. How you doing? We got a great guest coming up, but before we get into any of all of that, we are going to get started right about now. Hey everyone, it's another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays, where we let you guys know what is happening in entertainment and sports, but not today. We did sports on Monday. I'm excited to let you guys know that we still have copies of DJ Saved My Life. You can get a signed copy by scanning the QR code, and the print copy is available right now. I see Mr. Springer is in the building. Good to see you. And thank you so very much for that. We appreciate you as always. And then, of course, patreon.com/interludes. That's where we tell you all what we do behind the scenes. We've gotten some responses from when we hit the in stream or the in the live call. There's a lot that happens after we hit that button. So a lot of that stuff happens and we show it on patreon.com. And there's also the Purple Robe Diaries. You can join for free, especially if you have your own Gmail account. If you don't, it's okay. You sign up with whatever email service that you're using. But I'm excited that you guys have joined us and had fun with that. Key Spot is one of our affiliate sponsors. You can advertise your business or book or hobby, the thing that you love to do. You can go there and connect. This coming Thursday is the entrepreneurs. They meet up virtually around the country with the person who designed my website. I always talk Cynthia McAllister. Share, connect, and grow with Key Spot. I love how she supports entrepreneurs. And speaking of support of entrepreneurs, the morning meetup. Have you heard of a gentleman named David Shands? Well, that's me with him from the podcast summit in Atlanta back last year. If you want to join I call it a dynamic group of young entrepreneurs, I still consider myself young, so I'm going to throw myself in that anyway. You can scan the QR code and join for as little as $19 a month. It's all about content. It's all about keeping you accountable because his belief is consistency is the only cheat code. That's right. We got to always be consistent. And of course, the Pull Up Podcast Show, I do manage the social media for Mr. Thompson. Well, it's Coach Tony. Why am I saying Mr.? You go ahead, scan the QR code and follow him. I think he's over 100 followers. We appreciate you guys, dropping in and following him. And of course, we're posting more things. And of course, for myself, it's the Interludes podcast for Instagram, as well as my personal, which is Val the Voice Johnson. Man, oh man. But of course, like I said, Coach Tony, he will be here in a little bit and we will chit chat with him about In fact, oh my gosh, did he just come in the door? I think Coach just came in the door. But here's the thing: please remember to go to Pure Lighthouse Media and go ahead and get some of our our podcasting tips. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's Coach Tony.
Man, that's what you call on cue.
It sure is.
That's on cue.
How you doing?
Busy, feeling like a road runner everywhere, but where I'm supposed to be. But I'm supposed to be here. Got here, See, I can't wait to meet my girl tonight. Let her know west side to the south side. You know how we do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we don't have any kind of south side, west side,
we may have problems, you know what I'm saying?
North side battles with the Chicago situation. It's all love here. It's all love. And we want her to come back. We can't scare her off with the old south side thing. Why would you do that?
I know. I think she from the west side, she tough. Austin area, she tough. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I have to do this before we come up. I had a whole thing planned out for our guest tonight. And I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. But earlier this morning, first thing, like 6 o'clock this morning, I found out about Reverend Jesse Jackson. And he was so much of a part of my childhood in, what is it, WJPC AM?
Yeah, WJPC, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The voice of WVON, Voice of the Negro. These are call letters, ladies and gentlemen, specifically for Chicago, from South Carolina, but made his way up north. And he was one of the first African Americans to run for the president in 1984 and 1988. Of course, created the Rainbow Push Coalition. And what I heard on Saturday mornings, I am somebody.
That's right.
And what's some of your memories?
Well, for me, I get two things here. One, I get an opportunity to know the Jackson family because I got an opportunity to be around them quite a bit. Especially Junior, because of my dad, my granddad. My granddad was with Jesse quite a bit. His nickname was, they called him Overcoat. In the security side of the house, coming from the military, was with Jesse back in the 60s, right after the Democratic Convention. And then everything just kind of rolled there. So my family, and as I came up, I had no other choice. So when Rainbow was doing anything on 63rd or down on Stony or whatever it may be, I was there. We were there, supporting, helping, and just learning about the cause. And then I also want to give, secondly, a shout out. My heart goes out because my high school coach, Herb Ray from Morgan Park High School, passed last night. And I consider it on a good night, Robert Duvall, Jesse Jackson, and my high school coach, Herb Ray. And I want to tell you, Herb Jr., if you're watching tonight, because I know I sent you the information now, man, we're praying for you. I will definitely be in Chicago once I find out for the services. I'll be back home. That's just how much the Coach Ray meant to me at Morgan Park, kind of put me on my path of coaching and so forth and so on. So, yesterday was a rough day, but, for Jesse and to overcome the things and the stuff that I was hearing about, without Jesse in mid to late 80s, we have no Bill Clinton. We have no Barack Obama. So, for what people may or may not know about Jesse, man, he was great for the people, especially for the city of Chicago.
Yeah. And like I said, the one thing that I know, because I think I met Jesse twice. Once in New York when I was with the National Urban League, and then years ago when my uncle Maxie, who used to always work in coalition with Operation Push, and just kind of I forgot, he was a union guy. My uncle was a union president. I forgot, for Hostess. Yes, Dolly Mason. Yeah. Yeah. So he was kind of fighting for that. So here's the thing. I think even up until, I want to say, last month, even though Jesse's health was failing, he was still active. And when I say active, I mean still pushing to help and to, amplify things that were going wrong, because I know he had seen what had been happening. Hey, Ash, saying hello from Brooklyn. I know he had seen what had been happening with ICE and everything like that. So I was like, I totally get that. And I'm looking at this from Essence Magazine. They had pretty much out and said what Jesse Jackson taught us about wealth, power, and the fight for economic justice. Kind of the focus of a lot of the things that he fought for was he knew about redlining in Chicago. There was a lot of things that he taught about, and two of his sons were in politics, or one is still in politics in the Chicagoland area. So I'm very excited to know, you know, how ironic that Jesse passes in Black History Month. I mean, not that he was 84 years young, and I feel like you've worked so hard. He had been an activist his entire life, from he was a college student, all of these things that I'm hearing about him. So I'm excited, Coach. They said they're going to release information about the public, you know, I want to say the services through Operation Push. So I'm going to be listening out for that. So that's how that's going to work. And Mr. Springer, thanks for saying hello. Thanks so very much for saying hello. And are you ready to meet our guest tonight, Coach?
Man, listen. I stayed ready, so I ain't got to get ready. Come on now, you better check out my line. What you talking about?
Gosh, Chicago based here in I like to call it we are a brilliant city. Recently, she was the publicist and helped when Robert Townsend was here a couple of months ago to do a film festival. And she's also a journalist, also an author. And I met her through a good friend of mine, where they are helping the youth get employed in the film and television industry here in Chicago. I like to call her a media advocate and influencer. Ladies and gentlemen, Vee Harrison. How you doing, girl? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
I don't even think I ever cheered for somebody from the West Side that hard. I don't even know.
And I don't know if I was excited to see somebody with some say South Side across their chest.
See, that's how we do that. Told that. That's how we do it.
It's all love. It's all love.
Hey, my boy.
No fights. No fights are allowed.
With me, lived over in the Austin area, right down from Loretta Hospital. So I'm number love. I was
born and raised. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, I'm so excited to meet you on the tip of just being an influencer and doing the things you're doing in the city of Chicago. And you have to speak it out to people sometimes. They don't understand how big we are. They always talk about New York and LA, but I always tell them this. My sister was a big time model out Chicago. And she said, things always got started in New York. It always got flashed out in LA, but it never survived unless it came to the city of broad shoulders. Bam.
Period. Yeah. I like that. That's so true. Nothing like the Windy City. If you can survive out here, you can survive anywhere. So
that's right.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I have to ask, because this is dynamic to be able to start your own. I want to call it's a PR firm, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, exactly. You started your own PR firm, but what was your initial bug for becoming a journalist, media? Because that's your background, Columbia College. Like, walk me through your background.
Val, I think it might have started just being young and nosy. I was the middle child. 6 children, and I was dead smack in the middle, and I just loved telling my sister and my late brother's business. It was just a part of who I was. I grew up very close to my mom, and I was her eyes and ears in the house. And I kid you not, I knew maybe at about 8 or 9 that I was a writer. And I remember
Wow.
going to my mom and telling her, I said, Mama, I'm a writer. She told me I know. She knew too. But as I grew older, the writing it kind of emerged into more talent that I just really started getting comfortable with in my mid and late 30s currently. And PR was really a hustle. That guy said, no, this is not a hustle. This is a gift. And so I kicked off my PR firm, my namesake, Vee L Harrison Communications. I went to Columbia College downtown for journalism and mass communications. Writing was not paying all the bills. So I started hustling, right? That's the West Side in me, Coach Tony.
So that's
And
exactly.
I thought to myself, I needed to not only make more money, I needed to give myself justification of why I spent 5 years at a private art school learning journalism. And I did just that. I kicked off my own firm because naturally journalism and communications really does land into community outreach and public relations. And so I launched my firm, and it's almost 3 years old. It's just a toddler, and it's doing really well.
Oh,
Man.
that's amazing. That's amazing. And like I said, I think more and more people just need to, I want to say, present and teach how to research and be a journalist. Because like I don't think enough people know how to make sure that you cite and quote from your sources. Like I feel like that's
Mhm.
it feel like that's a lost art. I don't know if you feel that same way about, people. We
Oh,
have social media now, so people just goes, well, I saw it on Facebook, so it's true. And it's like, is that real journalism? I saw it on
it is
Instagram.
not. And thank you, Val, so
You
much
know,
for
internet
bringing
don't
that
lie.
up. You know? Thank you for bringing that up because even as a millennial who grew up in the internet age, right? You still have to be skeptical of the internet.
Right.
And what we've done with factual storytelling is we've allowed social media to overcompensate what we really know as news. And
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram might tell you somebody's business, but unless it's a, legitimate news source, that's not news. And we have to do a better job as an industry, especially Black journalists and Black media, telling the stories. And that really pivoted me into PR. Many of my clients are Black owned businesses and organizations out here fighting the good fight. I believe you met me through Felicia at Destiny Outreach, headed up by Hollywood producer Danita Patterson, where she creates an entertainment pipeline for young Black and Brown people on the West and South sides who wouldn't normally get those type of experiences. I took the things I was writing about and I became a voice for others who were also doing the work. The public relations is exactly how it sounds. I started to relate the message to the public. And my biggest thing was the Black narrative. And here's why. I believe I was maybe in like sixth or seventh grade when I started really understanding the impact of slavery, the
Mhm.
impact of what happened, and the no reading and writing. It just really stuck with me. But if I didn't remember anything, what I absolutely remembered learning about seventh or eighth grade was the fact that people were not allowed to read and write because they were Black. And I remembered learning the destruction of documentation. That just stuck with me. Very young age. I knew
Mhm.
that I wanted to be a part of a system that documented Black folks. I just knew that. And so
Yeah.
journalism was simply a segue into PR.
Man, that's amazing. You know, I was just sitting here thinking, and I don't know if you got it, you or Val had an opportunity to watch it, but Tyler Perry always does the same thing in his Medea movies until I got a chance to see the latest one where Medea, takes a road trip and it actually was Joe the daddy always act a fool, with Tyler.
Mhm.
And Vee, what you just said is exactly shocked me, and it kept me to the movie. It was funny, it was crazy, but we had a son that wanted to go to a PWI, and all he knew was the PWI. The daddy, was just Tyler, was a DA attorney, and got him out of, say, per se, the South Side, West Side, say, moved him out to Oak Brook, say, for example, and he grew up in that life. So all he knew is, I want to go to a PWI. Why you keep talking about this and that? And so he had to take this road trip, and Granddaddy Joe took him the real route. He's probably been going from Georgia to Pepperdine in California, but Joe took him through Nashville, took him through Memphis, Lorraine Hotel, took him down where Medgar Evers was killed at the river, took him out through Odessa, Texas, took him through all these places. And he had no idea. He just thought it was a crazy waste of time because he was using what? The internet with his phone, not realizing all this and that. And you just hit something very particular when you were talking about you as a journalist and the time you realized it. When did you realize as a young Black woman journalist that your voice was not only a voice that we needed to hear? Because, growing up in Chicago, really some of the only Black journalists we got a chance to see was on WGN, and when did you realize it was not only a voice for the city, but it was a must, and you had to get your voice out here so people could hear you?
It's a great question, Coach Tony. I believe it was right around COVID and the murder of George Floyd when I realized how important it was to be a part of the Black media. A man was murdered in broad daylight, a Black man, by the knee of a white cop on his neck, sighing for his mother.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen media the same since, and I don't even think we realize how much of a breaking point that was for us as a country, a culture, and for media. And I think it was around that time I was writing for The Tribe, which is a digital publication, Black owned and Black led, about Black narrative, when I realized it's really not okay for reporters to come into Black neighborhoods and tell us anything about our lives. I wrote my first book, Hood Healing, after the murder of my only brother, almost 5 years ago. Hood Healing talks about the intergenerational trauma of Black folks and how, as a journalist, I realized nobody could tell my story about growing up in Austin and seeing what I saw but me. And so much of our history is embedded in lies, destructive documentation, or we just don't know. And so I knew, Tony, that when we were seeing murder in broad daylight, as if it was like 1835, that my voice was heard. It needed to be heard. Thank you for pulling that up, Val. It's one of my very first book events I did. Where'd you find that photo? You're good.
I see you there.
Where'd you find that?
I do the deep dives. I do the deep dives.
I want to get Titanic.
I wanted to make
sure about that dress.
I wanted to make sure, since we're talking about, I want to call it journalism, and just kind of, since we are celebrating Black history, I wanted to make sure I mentioned Max Robinson and Carol Simpson. Do you remember
Carol Simpson,
Coach? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember both. Yes.
Right. So Max Robinson was the first African-American news anchor. I think he was, on ABC, World News Tonight from 1978 to 1983. And Carol Simpson became the first African-American woman to anchor a major network for World News Weekend Edition in 1988. And she was also the first Black woman to moderate a U.S. presidential debate in 1992.
Shout out Carol and Matt.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's funny
real journalism.
That Vee talking earlier. I was watching something the other day, and what you just said hits right on the button. They were like if you're not from Chicago, so the ones that are listening
Uh-huh.
are not going to understand this, but these two guys will get it. Because, like you said, Austin area on the west side. But they were glamorizing King be the low end. Well, for those that don't know the low end, Robert Taylor homes. I was watching a video. They took this brother into talking about the Taylors, and he was like, on from 43rd all the way down to 22nd Street. Like, I've been in the Taylors. My granddaddy lived on 22nd in the Taylors. Wasn't nothing glamorizing about the Taylors. You had to know people to get in the building. And if you didn't know nobody,
That's right.
good luck. Like going on the west side of Outer B. Wales. Good luck.
That's right. Good luck. And it's so interesting that you said that. A part of my book, I talk about how we have sensationalized the struggle, how we have truly commercialized the trauma. And so much of my purpose in public relations is to recreate the narrative of Black people. We are not all ignorant. Not all of us could afford college. Many of us don't have a degree, but we are not all uneducated. Many of us are very well aware of the systematic and systemic issues in our culture. And many of us have things and ideas as to what to do about them, but lack resources, lack support, lack motivation. And I love that you mentioned the projects because I feel like so much of what we have experienced. I was watching Good Times the other day.
Okay.
It's crazy to think about the shows that were shot in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the
And people
time.
don't know the Taylor and the Cabrini Green unless, at least here in Nashville, unless I say, "Hell, have you ever watched Good Times?" And they go, "Oh yeah, well that's Cabrini
That's so
Green."
crazy. That's how people know the projects in Chicago.
Correct.
And I love that you said that the power of TV and media and journalism and influence. It was Nina Simone that said my favorite quote, y'all.
Okay.
She said, if you are an artist of any sort, you are responsible for reflecting the times. If you are an artist of any sort, you have the responsibility of reflecting the times. As a journalist, I had to carry the story of George Floyd during COVID. And in that time, all I thought about as I was writing, it was called the daily dose. How many people died that day, the hospital beds that were available. It was traumatizing reporting. It was called the daily dose. I would always think, man, my grandkids are going to read that I wrote about a worldwide pandemic for a year straight. But I don't know where anything or any documentation of my great-great-grandmama is. You think about the power in that. The fact that I have my children's entire life right here on my phone. My children's entire life. Versus our great-great-great-grands, you might be lucky if you have a Polaroid.
Right.
This is the type of history. This is the type of culture that was snatched away from us. And so what ends up happening as a PR person is I march a Black client with a 501c3 into a local news station, and I demand that they tell that person's story the way it should be told. That's really the basis of the firm.
Wow. And that's good. I'm glad that you are using your platform, you're using your company to, I guess, kind of champion the, I want to call it the underserved, or and then of course for your clients to make sure that that they get a percentage of publicity so they can do business. I'm hearing too much about how Black businesses, especially in certain cities, or probably all cities, if they're going after city contracts, they don't get them. Number one, because they're either not minority owned certified or women minority owned business certified, and kind of that all of those other things that come up where you're trying to get the word out, or you want to go after government contracts and you and
Yeah.
you run into like a brick wall. What do you say to the person that is running a small business? They are a minority, or in the eyes of, I'm not, nothing is minor about me, but I'm just saying in the grand
No,
scheme
that's
of
right,
things,
Val.
ain't nothing minor about me. But how would you tell them, how would you direct your clients to be like, you can go after that government contract, you can go after that, and of course I'm going to help you because we got to get your name out there, because a lot of people, you have a great service, you have a great product, but a lot of people just don't know that you exist.
I love that so much, that question. I've been toying around with the idea that the letter V, this is for us, Val. You were asking about how I define the audience. All of them aren't underserved. Some of them are wealthy.
All
um,
right.
all of them aren't black. Some of them
All right.
are of different nationalities, but champion black issues. But I
Okay.
think one adjective that can fairly describe my clients and or the issues in which they champion is the voiceless.
Mhm.
Many of them go unheard. And because they go unheard, you never know some of the great things that Black people are doing for other Black people.
Right.
You never hear of some of the community services and philanthropy projects that people are into because you wouldn't know. So the other V is for visibility. We have
Mhm.
truly taken for granted the power of just seeing things. The internet has made immediacy quicker than fast. So everything is right there immediately in our faces, right? But something
Mhm.
that we've done as a culture is that we haven't quite realized the importance of A, slowing down, and B, branding yourself for people to see. Many people are failing because they have an idea, but they don't know how to share it and articulate it with people.
Mhm.
There are so many people sitting on $1 million ideas. Many of them just don't know where to start. Many of them don't have the resources. There are people who know exactly where to start, but are afraid. But all of the time, when you get to that level, you need visibility. That's what PR is, relating your situation, your organization, your individual self to the public. That visibility takes you from behind the closed door and get you out into the world. And there's many ways you can do that now. You've got social media, you've got eventing, doing things like this. So many mass mediums and communicators now allow for visibility. But many people fail, Val, because sometimes that's not in the budget or they just
Right.
haven't met Vee L Harrison.
There it is. Hey, I got a project. I'm throwing it at you, girl. I need some city look. I need some straight up. I mean, I got
I
something that's
got you. I got,
worldwide. You know what I mean? And it's so funny that
I got you.
you
I'm
just.
worldwide.
I already know that, and it's crazy because you mentioned influence. Man, V. Let me tell you something. Growing up,
Yes.
we didn't have these influencer titles and all this stuff like that. How did it make you feel
Uh-huh.
in the new age of internet, as you mentioned, growing up and then learning, hey, you know something, I'm a journalist, but you know something, I really know this internet. Now, the big question to you is you got the PR, you've already taken the shovel,
Mm-hmm.
you've already dug the
Mm-hmm.
ditch, thrown the dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and you're grinding every day. Now, out of nowhere, we throw this thing up called AI. How do you, in the
Right.
future, work either in comparison to AI, or do you say, you know something, I need to learn this too? Because I was watching something on the news today and they said people who run away from AI will be 30 to 40% of those jobs will be replaced by as early as 28 or 27. Those
Right.
who adopt
Mm-hmm.
will then be in a greater situation because AI will physically work for you. How are you doing that
Mm-hmm.
as an influencer?
Thank you so much for asking about AI. I tell people ain't nothing artificial about my intelligence. And
I love it. I love it.
Homie, hey, I'm stealing that one straight up.
Ain't
you
nothing
really want to tick
artificial.
me off. You want to really tick me off when them computers and them phones be asking, How many roads do you see? Verify that you're a human.
Yes.
We are empowering. We are empowering fakeness. It's a strange world that we're in. And it's a scary world. But to your point, like many things that are systematically and systemically launched in our culture, if you do not pay attention and get on board, you will indeed be left behind.
Yes, I've been
And that is
preaching
100%. That is 100% intentional. They are looking for Black folks to be like, I ain't dealing with them robots.
Right.
How we are.
Then you walk up in the warehouse and be
Ain't
like,
no
hey,
robot
man,
telling me what to do.
go ahead and go home because we got somebody working your section. And you look down there, ain't nobody in the section. Like, what you talking about? Oh, don't worry about the robot.
Exactly.
He come around the corner taking a whole pallet. Crazy. That's where it's a warehouse is the first place. Vee, automated warehouses.
I believe it.
Oh,
and then the newsrooms. One of my elders told me that he was going to take his wife for a surgery, and the robot was just cruising down the hallway at the hospital. Excuse me. We are in different times, purposefully and intentionally. We are in different technological times, and it is a way to test the wokeness that Black folks keep saying we got, right? But it's also to test our intelligence.
I like that.
Yeah, and I think
because if I'm up against a robot, how intelligent am I?
Yeah, because when the robot break down, who gonna have to fix it? You.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to fix it because it takes organic intelligence beats organic intelligence beats artificial intelligence hands down, because the intelligence for artificial has to come from somewhere. I am the base. I am the foundation. My organic intelligence is the foundation. Hello.
Man, Vee always told you, ain't nothing artificial about my intelligence. That's
none at all.
Man, what?
My hair ain't even artificial. You hear me?
What you see?
Artificial about this intelligence.
Man, I love that.
And I believe that there is power in knowledge.
Yep.
In educating ourselves, especially as a people, with things and systems that come to intervene. But if we don't pay attention, we will be left behind something major. So I encourage Black folks, you hearing it from me. All right. I'm just a little old journalist from Chicago, right? You better read. And it better be a book and not some artificially intelligent article.
And they trip on me, Vee, when my people, my family, they laugh on me because I'm already rock and roll with AI, and his name is Craig. You know, Friday. So what's up, Craig? I asked him crazy. We just sit up and talk.
Not name your AI Craig. You did not do that.
Yeah, I named him Craig, and they laugh at me.
Not Craig.
Oh yeah, they be like, Coach, who you talking to? I said, I'm talking to Craig. Who the hell is Craig? Oh, man, that's my AI guy. And they'll ask me a question. I get up in the morning, cut the computer on. Craig be like, "Good morning, Tony. How are you doing?" I'm like, "You tripping, man?"
See
like,
what
hey,
I'm saying?
Already there.
That's just it's just getting a little weird. It's just a little weird.
It is.
A little bit.
Yeah, and especially after you work with these robots for so long, and then a few days to a week, they said, "Are you having your coffee? Are you watching this? Are you doing this? Like, do you want to read this section of the newspaper? Let me go to CNN News for you this morning." It's like you wake up and the robot already has your routine over so many weeks or whatever you're doing, and then it'll ask you, "Do you want to go here, or there?" It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
the day a robot pulls up and brings me my remote is the day I jumps out.
Okay. Well,
because
iRobot came out, what was it, 20 years ago in 2004?
Yeah, that Will Smith iRobot. Oh my God, yeah,
22 years ago. So we are very close to that being a reality, because a lot of things that
now, you talked about 2030
in movies, they come to life, huh?
I said in the movie iRobot, didn't that was supposed to be futuristic in 2030 in that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yep. In 2030.
It was saying that it was predicting 2030.
Oh,
that's right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I find it I find it hilariously interesting. But let me circle back to journalism, since we're talking about that now. Recently, and myself and Coach talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when things were going, I want to say left, when it came to people reporting on ICE and what was happening in Minneapolis. These Don Lemon, who was with CNN for years, now is independent.
Mhm.
He has his own show. And then Georgia Fort, who was there, she's an independent journalist out of Minneapolis, and they were both arrested along with two others. And so I wanted to
Mhm.
get your thoughts on like the freedom of press and how important it is for journalists, especially journalists that look like you and me, to have the
Yeah,
the freedom to report what they're seeing.
I appreciate that question. You know, journalism is not a crime.
Thank you.
Reporting and storytelling, they are not crime.
Hmm.
You are not wrong because someone doesn't think you're not right.
Right.
Journalism is about fact. I find it very sad that in 2026, we are arresting journalists as though they are murderers or they're doing something wrong by stating the facts. Just because a people or a government or a federal entity does not like what they're hearing does not mean that it is wrong. One thing that I remember about being in school and studying journalism and communications is objectivity. That was one of the hardest things for me
Hmm.
because being objective means taking myself out.
That's
Now,
right.
remember, I told you when I was young, what attracted me to journalism was all the stories out west that were
Hmm.
around me.
You
So
were
when I
nosy.
became a young woman, just nosy, right? So when I
Yeah.
became a young woman and I was writing and maturing and realizing what journalism was, I then said to myself, oh, this can't be about me. I even had editors tell me, we don't want a photo of you. You cute. We need a photo of the people. So I struggle with objectivity a little. I'm a little vain. I said it can't be about me. But now that I've experienced life, now that I have realized God's calling on this voice and God's calling on the work, it ain't never been about me. It's a selfless job. And Don Lemon and the other journalists, black and brown, that were arrested, my heart goes out to them, but they need to leave us alone. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense that they are on your arrest sheet. They need to leave us alone. I really don't
Yeah.
think that a guy with brown loafers and fitted pants and a button up
Was a threat.
reporting on journalism is a threat.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then why even beat the First Amendment in our head, right? Why,
That
why even
part.
beat the First Amendment? So if you're going to
That
beat the
part.
First Amendment in our head as we were kids and having to learn it, I don't even think
Mhm.
kids nowadays. I remember about going through school. I remember I had to have literally a test, and you had to pass it in
Constitution.
the Constitution test. I don't even think them
Yes,
kids
sir. Just had an
realize.
eighth grader about a year ago, right here in my own home, studying for it. You know how weird it is to look at that material and know the truth as an adult?
Right.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And now it's really
The
being
Bill
getting
of
in here because
Rights.
you got somebody in the White House that's breaking it all down and changing it as it goes. And
Creating his
you
own.
just hit it on the head. If you can't report as a journalism, then why even have the degree,
Why
right?
have a
Why
degree?
even have news stations? Why even have
Yeah,
news? You see printed newspapers is long gone. And we grew up, we
that's
for those that's watching today, we grew up in Chicago with the newsstand on the corner, right? My
I
man
remember that.
yes,
that.
yes.
I go get you, throw $1.25 and give me a Suntime or a Trib and keep it stepping. And if you was really
Yes.
good, you get you one of the black newspapers, and you good. And it's crazy. And then,
Streetwise, streetwise,
there you go.
streetwise.
Or you
Oh,
run
I
up
remember that. I
on
remember
the Muslims, and they got the bean pies for you, plus a report from Brother
Plus a
Farrakhan.
bean
What you
pie.
talking about?
Man, Chicago so
yes.
lit. And you can get a body oil 2 for $5.
Two for
Oh my
five.
goodness.
Man. So looking at all that, coming from the streets and changing and doing that, and as you just mentioned, do you think that the way that our government per se um, is changing the narrative on things that are truth, as you mentioned a moment ago, to provide a little untruth in them. Do you think that's a situation that's going to bother someone like you as a journalist in the future, where when you go to report a story, you're going to feel a little more, hey, I may not want to say it this way, or I may not want to say it that way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
how is that going to kind of deter the industry? Because we got young people that are coming up going to college right after you that may want to be
Yeah.
a reporter. And they say, you know
Yeah.
something, I don't want to do that because if I do it, I report, I may go to jail. How's that narrative
Right.
going?
That's wild. That's a crazy thing. Well, the term I like to use as it relates to that question is whitewashed.
Ah,
And
okay.
when you begin to whitewash any industry, specifically journalism,
Hmm.
you leave out the narratives that matter, the narratives that have impacted so much of the story. And so I remember writing for a small paper when I was in college, and they was tripping about me capitalizing the being black. I never returned back. I left on a Tuesday and they ain't see me since. They probably watching this podcast. Hey y'all, hope y'all capitalizing that being
I
black
left
sitting
on
on.
Tuesday and never even see me no more.
I hope y'all capitalizing that. I'm not gonna call them out, but I hope they
Right,
capitalizing that being black.
right, right.
Because see what you're not gonna do. See what you're not gonna do. You can intimidate, sure.
Yeah,
You can arrest, sure. But see what you're not gonna do is silence us at this point.
there you
This
go.
ain't that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are the products of an ancestral line that was abused, raped,
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yep.
ignorant of what was even happening to them.
sure.
You ain't gonna silence us.
And it wasn't that many
So you
years ago.
might be able to arrest us, talk, it wasn't. Talk crazy about our inner cities, make our journalists feel intimidated, but we're not
Yep,
going anywhere.
yep.
And we're gonna tell the stories now. You can tell your white friends to take a few days off. We're gonna tell the stories now. Thank you. They're ours to tell. And you cannot just continue to recreate narratives and call it the truth. I don't care if your title is the president. You can't just recreate the truth. And if my 8-year-old upstairs understand, I don't know why a 70-plus-year-old don't understand. But you can't do that. That makes it a lie. It makes it a
Yeah,
lie. And journalists aren't afraid to tell the truth. It's what we were born to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Mm-hmm.
tattletelling for 30 years, bro. Who
no,
you
you're
scaring?
right.
Okay.
I like how she put that because most people say snitching, but
No,
we,
no, no. We
Snitching.
don't
stitching
Well,
want
you know, snitches
to.
end up with stitching.
stitches,
Yeah,
right? So it's but hey,
that's
just like back in the day,
We don't do none
y'all
of
don't
that.
know about it. We go to West Side, South Side, get them bag of chews, go in the candy store for a quarter, come out with a bag of chews. They don't know about that.
I love it.
They don't know about that.
I know plenty about the news.
Right.
But thank
It
you
was
for that
so
question.
it was so
Journalism is under attack.
it
yes.
is
It's
very much so.
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. Black is
Yeah.
under attack.
Yeah, and it's funny that you
Yeah, our
mentioned that
narrative.
too, B, because like here in Nashville, me and Val talk all the time. I know I used to have people literally like, "Oh, you grew up in Chicago? How many times you get a knife pulling?
Mhm.
What about a gun?" Like, dude, what are you talking about? After that, I don't have to go to Chicago to get that shit. I can just jump on 40 and go to Memphis.
You know what I'm saying? They act, man, I done been so many places. Have you been shot at? Girl, no, give me my
Yeah.
fries.
And
Like,
if you
what are
look
you
at the top
talking
20
about?
crime statistics, they go crazy when they see the city of Chicago's not even in the top 20. They're like, wait a
No,
minute.
we're
Not
not.
even on there.
It'd be like Birmingham. Like, what the hell? You
And I
know?
think, unfortunately, a lot has been amplified with ICE hitting all.
Yes.
I noticed Democratic
Cities.
run cities and
Yeah.
states. In particular,
Absolutely.
it was brought out that Minneapolis in particular was hit because of Tim, the governor, who
Yep.
was the running mate of Kamala Harris.
Yep.
And so I was like,
That's
yeah, this
right.
is if we don't know what is exactly happening, we have to really,
Mm-hmm.
be, I want to call it, very aware. Let me jump to this now. So unfortunately, this morning we found out that we lost Reverend Jesse Jackson. And here's the thing. I heard someone say that someone like a Jesse Jackson is like John Lewis, is like Andrew Young. You know, when they pass, they take a lot of information with them. And if you could speak on, you know, when you met or have you met Jesse Jackson, what did you learn in his presence, or what did you learn? What did you pick up from him when you got a chance to meet and talk with him?
It was maybe about 2010, 2011. I had just started at Columbia College, or I just was getting ready to wrap up actually at Columbia College, and he visited a class of ours, and he just makes you feel like being Black is good. And I know that sounds so simple, right?
Yeah.
But when you grew up in the 90s, your Black faces that were your role models were like, I'll just tell y'all who mine were. TLC, Aaliyah, like all these different celebrity role models, you know,
groups
versus someone who was part of the civil rights movement,
right,
who gave me a different feeling than any celebrity I had ever experienced in my life. He gave us this message of hope about being Black creatives and Black journalists and on the front lines. And I just remember how adamant he was about making us feel good about ourselves. I'm just never going to forget that. I happened to be in bed when I found the news out, and I belonged at the news station this morning. I had a client who belonged at CBS News. And I said, how ironic is it to have a news day, which is what I call it when my firm has a news day, on the day that I lost this man. We lost this man.
Yeah.
It is my duty to do exactly what Nina Simone said, to document these times. I was with an activist brother, Jamal Cole, who is the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City.
Yeah,
Jamal's
talented
incredible.
brother. Yeah, talented guy.
Yep. And Jamal had an interview today about an upcoming event that he has on Saturday, The Ripple Effect. He and a bunch of brothers are getting together and putting truth to accountability for Chicago. And Jamal was just talking about his experience with him. And I'm like, CBS is about to document my client that I am bringing onto this news station to talk about a civil rights activist. I am documenting my times. It's just moments like that when
this
I
is
just
history
know.
in itself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Stuff the kids don't get because they're not even there, and they don't
They're
even
not
see, you know. And when you in your space, and I'm sure you get people hit you left and right. If you have a young African American girl or boy, especially a girl for this point, who's in grammar school right now, haven't even hit high school, run around the house reading and kind of nosy herself, and says, I want to go into journalism. What kind of advice do you give this young girl going into high school who haven't even made it to college yet, and she'll be dealing with AI in something different than you had to? What would be the advice that you could leave a young Black African American child, you know, so she has her path with a light and she can see the end of the tunnel?
You better have tough skin.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that.
My grandma Ruth about yay high. I'm already 5'2" and little, but my
She said,
grandma
yay
like
high.
to have my ear.
Right, to a grasshopper.
And her favorite line is, I'm a little piece of leather, but I'm well put together.
Okay. We'll knock you out.
Granny like 4'11". Okay, Granny. You better have some tough skin.
4'11". Yes.
Yeah.
You better
And I
have
have
some
to-
tough skin.
And I think my mom and my aunt kind of shared that with me as well. I remember being all excited, V, telling my mom about Selma, the film that Ava DuVernay did, I think about 12 years ago.
Selma.
Selma, right. And I was like, Ma, there's this wonderful film out. Selma, you got to see it. Coach, I was all hyped to be like, yeah, Ma, you got to see it. She's like, well, what's it about? And I told her what it's about. She said, oh, yeah, I went through that. I ain't trying to see the film. We good.
Yeah, the older generation ain't trying to go back and see nothing.
Wow.
We good.
What an interesting perception.
My family in Alabama be
I
like
can
that.
see why
Like,
that would be traumatizing.
yeah, they're like, I'm in Alabama. I don't need you. I tell Val this funny story all the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
When I was in school, I had a book reading about history, and my great grandmother, like you talking about, Pitch, I got a chance to know who she was, last slave of the family.
Wow.
So and she was like, what are you studying? I said, history. She said, let me see that book, baby. So I gave her the book. VC slung it out of y'all. I was like, whoa, what you doing? Sit down. Let me tell you real history. You ain't got to read that book.
That's the best history.
Yeah, let's see that tree over there.
I love so much. Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Oral
love
history.
that. This is a perfect way. I love that you said that, Tony. It inspires me to want to wrap up this way. Because now that we have the news, and may his soul rest in peace,
yes,
Reverend Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I keep turning on the news to my elders leaving. Not my granny or my grandpa, per se. And I've only got one alive grandmother right now on this earth, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But just elders like Jesse Jackson, a few years ago, Maya Angelou,
right,
Afina Shakur, just all these revolutionary figures.
Mm-hmm.
And that don't say nothing to me, but step up.
That's right.
Step up.
You got to
feel
step up.
so inadequate on Mondays. I still feel immature calling my mama asking about bill arrangements. Okay. But for your ancestors to show you and whisper I know. For your ancestors to whisper to you to step up.
Like that.
That's a sacred charge.
Yeah.
That's a sacred charge. So that's what all of these deaths, the losing of our elders have taught me.
Yeah. And I want to make sure that I need to share this. I saw this on Twitter, and this was probably recorded definitely when I was either a shorty or I wasn't quite here yet. This is from Sesame Street. You remember Sesame Street, right?
Come on,
of course.
Of course, you remember Sesame Street. So,
it was my mama that taught me, my daddy that taught me. Damn Sesame Street.
Don't make me bring out that conjunction. What's your function? Come on now.
What's your function? Or just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Bill, exactly.
Somebody. I am. Somebody. I may be poor. But I am. Somebody. I may be young. But I am. Somebody. I may be on welfare. But I am. Somebody. I may be small. But I am. Somebody. I may make a mistake. But I am. Somebody. My clothes are different. My face is different. My hair is different. But I am. Somebody. I am black, brown, white. I speak a different language, but I must be respected, protected, never rejected. I am God's child. I am somebody. Give yourself a big hand.
Man, that's great. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see somebody go back and do a study of those kids that were right there in that immediate group and find out who took that speech
that's good.
personally and where they are today. That would be amazing.
I would love that. That would definitely be great.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, and I figured that would probably be like the best way to kind of wrap up today, because I wanted to have you on, because definitely what we do, because I still consider myself a journalist, even though I haven't actively written anything in a minute. But what we do
Always a journalist.
Always once a journalist, always a journalist. But definitely the media, especially Black media, is important, and we just need to make sure that our voices are amplified and that we continue to continue with oral history. We are sad that one of our champions is no longer with us, but we still have folks that are still around. And I say, talk to your elders. There's a lot of history at the foot of your elders. So I want to thank you for sharing a little bit of your story with us here on Talk on Tuesdays. Right, Tony? Yay!
And V, I'm a Kappa frat brother, and as we always say when we lose a great like that, welcome to chapter invisible. He's invisible to you, but he's not invisible to the man upstairs.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Thank you so much.
And make sure we don't forget Kalisha's comment. We were talking earlier about the neighborhood. She said, she's from Memphis and South Central Los Angeles, and she hadn't experienced any of that either, because it's the outside influence that see stuff on the TV, and when they meet you, you from there, they automatically say, "Oh, woo, woo." But I laugh now because when you look at the shootings and the murders and all that going on in these schools, it ain't us. It ain't us. We ain't shooting up schools, but they ain't gonna report about that. So anyway, that's a whole nother hour.
No. meet you on the next episode, because I need to speak on that one too. That's a whole nother hour.
There you go. And make sure you check out and pull up on my Monday podcast too, V. I got a sports podcast on Monday right here called the Pull Up Podcast
I was
Show.
just seeing that on the page.
Pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do. You from the shy, you welcome.
Will too.
Pull up on me. But it's great.
I would love to. You got it. I'll be there.
And we're excited about that. And of course, A DJ Saved My Life. It is the book. It's available. You can scan the QR code, and of course, get your signed copy of A DJ Saved My Life. Oh my gosh, Coach, this has been fun.
DJ saved my life.
I keep telling you that, V. I've been singing all this.
And then they break it down. Last night a DJ saved my life. My favorite part is when the song break it down like, last night a DJ saved my life.
Now, I like that. Is that a problem that I can't fix? Because I can do it in the mix. So
you guys are so much fun.
I'm about to break it down because the break is about to come.
Exactly. Oh my God.
I'm about to do that.
I love that.
Steppers music be stepping it. They don't know about none of that.
You're gonna have to come. You have to come back and visit us, and thank you so much for not being triggered with the Southside T-shirt.
Oh man,
no, it's awesome.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
West rhyme with best.
Hey, I'm gonna give you one too. When you go out south, go to my family's restaurant in Limbs. You already know about Limbs on 75th, so that's the family.
Oh, that's your people.
It's my peoples, and we just won restaurant of the city. All right, so
Coach Tony sent me.
Say, bam, and the funny part about it is, unfortunately, as I mentioned about Coach, if I'm home next week and as I hit Val up and I'll be there the whole weekend, I want to definitely get with you. I don't care. We don't do nothing but grab lunch or grab some pizza or whatever it may be. I would love to get out and sit down and meet you in person when I'm in the city.
I would love that. Let's absolutely arrange that, Val. You make sure you keep us connected.
I'll do the text exchange, and if you don't mind, hang on a little bit after the credits, but go ahead and do the two fingers up. We say it.
Peace.
Last night a D saved my life. I'm going to listen to it now.